Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for this class on Henri Rousseau. He was born in 1844, a long time ago, and he passed in 1910, which is also quite a long time ago. And he was an artist that did a style called naive art. And naive means childlike or dreamlike. So he was very much interested in painting paintings that weren't very realistic. He wanted to paint them in more of a dreamlike way, kind of a childish way. And when he did this, people didn't really understand what he was doing, because back then people enjoyed realism, things that were very much about reality, what we see today. And so when he came along with his pictures that were dreamlike and childish, people really didn't know what to make of him. And it was only when Pablo Picasso found his paintings in a junk shop, he found two paintings, he found them in a junk shop and he thought that they were absolutely fabulous. He bought them right then and there, and he became the biggest fan of Henri Rousseau, and he actually inspired Picasso because Picasso was he very much loved to try to paint in a childish way, in a childlike way. He wanted to see art through the eyes of a child. That's what he aimed to do. And so when he found Henri Rousseau's work, and he had managed to achieve that, he was really inspired by that. And he wanted to draw inspiration from that. He wanted to paint in that same way. So he became the biggest fan of Henri Rousseau, and it was Pablo Picasso that really put him in the spotlight and made him famous. Before that, people didn't really enjoy his work, not like we do today. He didn't become an artist until he was 40, which is quite late for an artist, and he didn't have any art education at all. He was completely self-taught. So for us to be self-taught today, we might go to YouTube or we might go to an art class or something like that. For him, he didn't do any of that. He was totally self-taught. So he would just stay in his studio all day painting and drawing and doing all these things to try to get better and better. So jungle scenes were his favourite type of art. He loved to paint jungle scenes. He painted portraits and still life and parks, and he even painted the Eiffel Tower. But the paintings that are most famous are the ones of the jungles. But he didn't actually leave France, so how did he manage to find out about jungle animals and jungle plants, exotic flowers and things like that? Well, he went to the zoo, where he could see how a tiger or a lion moved, the different muscles that the tigers have, and the lion's big mane and big teeth and things like that. And then he would go to botanical gardens as well to sort of see what kind of plants there are. And he would go to the zoo or to the botanical gardens, and he would go with his sketchbook and he would fill his sketchbooks with all sorts of different drawings, and he would take them back to his studio and he would complete these beautiful paintings of dreamlike worlds. Okay, without further ado, let's make a start on our Henri Rousseau jungle tiger. Let's find the middle of our page with our finger, and that's going to be where the tiger's nose is. Okay, so when we get there, we're going to do a hill and another hill, so two hills, and depending on how big your tiger is, it's going to have a little nose or a big nose. So if you're doing like a baby tiger, then you'll do a much smaller nose. And then we're going to join that up. We're going to make a love heart. So we're going to touch one side and we're going to come down into our love heart this side and down into our love heart on this side. And then we're going to go from the bottom all the way around so that we create the other parts of his nose where his whiskers are. So we go all the way around in a nice big loop and then come back and touch the nose. We'll do the same to the other side. We're going to touch the middle, we're going to go all the way around, nice big loop, and then come back to the other side again. And you can always leave some little dots where you want the whiskers to go later on. Okay, now we're going to come to the top of the nose and we're going to put in the long part of the nose coming into the eyebrows. So I'm going to touch the top of the nose here. We're going to go up, 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 up and around. We'll do the same to the other side. We touch the nose and go up, 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 up and hook around. And don't worry about the two sides matching. I love imperfections, so don't worry about it being perfect. Don't even try for it to be perfect. Love those imperfections. Let's put on some bushy eyebrows. There's one there. There's one there. Nice and bushy. Okay, now his eyes are going to be nice and wide, nice and big. So we're going to do a nice big sad face, unfortunately. There's my sad face. But underneath it, I'm going to do a nice big happy face. Nice big happy face. And the two ends are going to meet so that I create an almond or a leaf shape. And inside my leaf shape, I'm going to do a nice big circle. And inside of that big circle, I'm going to do a teeny weeny circle. Let's do the same to the other side. Don't worry about them matching. Okay, we're going to come inside where the eyebrow is. I'm going to do a nice big sad face. And underneath it, we do our happy face so that we create our leaf. And then we're going to do a nice big circle and a little circle inside of that. Okay, now we're going to put the top of the tiger's head in. So we're going to take our finger and put it just above in between the two eyebrows here, and we're going to take a big jump up close to the top of the page, but not right at the top because we want to save room for the ears. So start here in between the two eyebrows, nice big jump, and it's there that we're going to do a rainbow. Okay, just a short rainbow. So I'm not very long, just a short rainbow. But then we're going to take one side, we're going to bring it all the way around to touch the tiger's cheek here. So I'm going to touch this side and we're going to come down, down, down and around. We're going to touch the tiger's nose bit here. And we'll do the same to the other side. So we touch the side of our rainbow, and come down, 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 and then come down and touch the nose or the cheek. All right, now he kind of looks like he's got a really funny head there, doesn't he? So we're going to put on some ears. I'm going to start over here. I'm going to put on one ear nice and pointy at the top, coming down, and don't worry about them being straight. Having some little wibble wobbles, it's actually quite nice. Especially when we do the inside of the ears, we want it to look really fluffy. So I like to start at the top of the ear with some nice long fluffy bits here. And we're going to do lots of zigzags inside the ear. Lots of zigzags. So nice and fluffy inside there. And we'll do the same over to the other side. So nice big shape. Don't worry about the shapes being the same. They don't need to match. I don't think any tiger's ears match perfectly, so don't worry about that. And then we're going to put in those nice long fluffy bits there. So really long zigzags. Zigzag all the way down. Okay, let's put in the rest of the face here. So we're going to put in his chin, going from one side of his nose to the other. And then if he's got his mouth open in your picture, then you'll need to do another line inside. But if he doesn't have his mouth open, then just leave it as it was before so that it looks like it's closed. And then we're going to put in the rest of the body. So let's come up and touch this line here. And we're going to come down, 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 all the way to the very bottom of the page. And the same again over here. So touch your line and come down, 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 all the way to the bottom of the page. Okay, now we're going to have some fun with some stripes. So at the top, we're going to start up here and we're going to put in a nice long wiggly worm. We're going to jump down, we're going to do the same, but every time we do it, we're going to get a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller. And let's join them up like this. And underneath here, we're going to take one line out to the edge of this line here, his nose. We're going to do the same to the other side. We're going to take another line out to this side. We'll do it again. One line out to that side and one line out to that side. And then we get to have some fun with some other stripes coming around here, and it doesn't really matter where you have them. These could be going anywhere you want. A bit like when we've done a zebra together. If you did a zebra with me, we had lots of fun doing the stripes of the zebra. So just put them anywhere you think they might go, lots of these worm shapes. And the two sides need to roughly match. Just roughly. So something like that will be fine. Down here on the body, we're going to start from the side and we're going to go down and back up again. So we're creating two big hills. We're going to do that again to create our stripe. We just follow the line like a train follows its tracks. We follow the line that we've already drawn. We'll do that again underneath here, and you can do this as many times as you like. Maybe you want a really stripy tiger. Okay, do that as many times as you like. I'm going to do another one up here. Okay, and then you can keep on coming down to the very bottom if you like, whatever you want to do. So once you've done that, we're going to have some fun with the background. And we want to have lots of jungle plants and flowers and things like that. So we're going to try to do lots of different looking shapes, different looking leaves. So I'm going to start up in this corner over here. And we're going to do something nice and simple, and then we're going to get a little bit more adventurous. So up here, I'm going to start with a normal symbolic leaf shape, just like the eye here. We're going to do a nice big leaf shape. And let's do a couple more coming out of the main leaf here. Now then, down here we're going to do the same shape, and it's going to slightly cover our tiger's belly here. So we're going to do the same shape that we did here, but we're going to cover our tiger's belly a little bit. Do as many of these as you like. You could even have them coming right through here, or maybe they go across the entire page. That's up to you to decide. I'll put in another one here, just because I'm quite enjoying doing those shapes. All right, let's be a bit more adventurous. Over in this corner here, I'm going to do a nice long line. This is going to be the center of my, or the vein, the central vein of my leaf. So I'm coming nice and long, started all the way down this corner, nice and big, all the way up here. And at the top, I'm going to start with almost a bubble or a C shape. And once I've done my C shape, I'm going to bounce, 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 bounce all the way back to the edge of the page. I'll do the same this side. Start at my C shape and bounce, 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 bounce all the way to the bottom of your page. And then you can add some nice long lines coming from the center vein out to those bounces. Okay, perhaps something different over here as well. So let's have some nice long leaf shapes like a spider plant. If anyone's got a spider plant at home, I have one. They're beautiful. Let's do a spider plant. I'm going to touch my tiger's cheek. I'm going to do a long rainbow shape, nice and long. You can almost come right over to the edge if you like. When we get there, we're going to travel back. So let's start this side And I'm going to start quite thin, but I'm going to let it get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as I go along. Okay, now you can have some fun with where these other leaf shapes are going to go. So for instance, maybe I want another one looking like it's coming out of this one that I've just done, in which case I'm going to touch my line here. I'm going to do another nice long rainbow shape. I'm going to touch the end of my rainbow shape and I'm going to go all the way back, making sure I get wider and wider and wider as I go back. Okay, let's keep on adding these, so wherever you want, you can have some of them jumping over other leaves. Make sure you jump over whatever's in your way. And just keep on adding and adding and adding as many as you like. The more different leaf shapes you add, the better this is going to look. Okay, that'll do for now from me. You can continue adding those leaf shapes. I'm going to start getting my chalks ready. I'm going to be using inscribed pastels because I find that they're really good quality and they're not very expensive. So they'll have some really beautiful, nice, vivid colours that will be really strong and give you lovely effects. So inscribed pastels. And I'm going to start with the white. We're just going to do all of the white areas first. Okay, so for instance, just around the ears, coming into those little fluffy bits, those zigzags that you have coming down. I want to get into all of those little areas. Don't worry if you go over your lines or anything like that, because we'll be going over the top of this again anyway a little bit later on. If you are getting really dusty, then instead of using your hand to wipe away the dust and just getting white everywhere, you can give your paper a little shake, or you can use your breath and blow away the pastel. Either way is fine. Just try to avoid using the back of your hand to brush it away. You're getting into all of those cracks. Okay, and around the eyes. Don't worry about being neat at this time. We're not worried about neatness. At the moment we're just getting colour on, light and dark on the paper. We don't need to worry about neatness. And we'll be going over the top with our fingers to smooth everything out anyway, and that will help it looking textured like this. All right, we'll do above the eyebrows here. You see, as I'm going around, I'm getting quite scribbly. It's almost like there's fur emerging here because it's quite scribbly there. I'll do the other side as well. So I've got those lines are like the fur, the hairs on his head. And we're going to come down the side of his face, down by his cheeks. Don't worry if you go outside of your lines. You can even bring the chalk right outside of your lines so that you're creating little furs, little hairs coming right outside of your tiger. That all adds to it. Let's keep on going around, doing a nice chunky line all the way round. And same over this side. I'm going to start at the eye and come down the side. We're going to do quite a lot of white before we get into the other colours. And let's do the nose as well. I've got quite a large area here, so instead of using my chalk like a pencil, I'm just going to lay it down flat and slide it across
my paper. And then that way I get to cover more space at once. And then if you need to use it like a pencil, then you can do. Lay it down flat again, cover a large area, and then I'm going to use it like a pencil to get in between the gaps. Okay, and I'll do the chin. And the top of the nose. Okay, I'm going to start to come down the body here now as well. So I need to remind myself which are the stripes, because they're the ones that are going to be black. Everything in between is going to be white. So I'm using my chalk on its side again. And you should still be able to see your pencil lines. If you can't see your pencil lines, if they've kind of got covered, so if you can't see the nose here, and if you can't see the chin or the cheeks around here, if you can't see that anymore, then you can grab a pencil and just draw them back in. So just go over again, draw them back in so that you can see them once more. Okay, you can do that anytime. All right, so that's where my black line is going to be. So I'm going to do another white line here. Don't worry if you go over the leaves or anything like that. This isn't a project about staying inside the lines. Okay, that's going to be enough white chalk for now. So we'll venture into some of the other colours. Okay, I've got a nice light orange here, or a dark yellow, and we're going to start by putting some of this on the ears and then working our way back down the page. So let's go with the ears, and you're going to make sure that you touch the white. Don't leave any gaps between your white and your yellowy orange. It doesn't have to be neat at this stage. Remember, it's fine that it isn't. Having little bits of rough areas here and there is going to add to that sort of look of fur. So we really want to actually have a few scribbles in there to help us get the effect of fur. And let's go over the top of the head there, that rainbow shape. Come all the way down. And let's touch that yellow. I'm going to start to go around these shapes where I added the shapes for those black stripes. I'm going to go around those. Don't worry if you end up going inside of them, because the black's going to cover anything that comes in inside those shapes. Any other colour, the black is going to completely cover, which is very handy because it means that we don't have to be terribly neat for the rest of it. Okay, great. And then let's come down to these areas here. So where I've got my what's going to be my black line, they're blue lines at the moment. So where I've got my blue lines, I'm not going to touch that, but I'm going to add some orange underneath the face here and down the edges. So for instance, I've got this cheek, the tiger's cheek coming through here. Well, on the body, just underneath the cheek, I'm going to add some orange, and then that helps to break up the white. I'll do the same over here. So I've got the line of the cheek coming around here. Underneath that line, I'm going to add some orange to help break that up. I don't want so much white because I've got all white along here. I'm going to do the same for under the chin as well. And then I'm going to do the same under each stripe, just coming down the side of the tiger. Yeah, you can make each one a little bit different. Just remember, we love that variety on our artwork. It's really important. Variety is key. It keeps people looking for more and more detail. What can they find? What little treasures can they find in your artwork? So you have to give them little treasures to find. So make each one a little bit different. A little bit of treasure. Oof, I'm getting really dusty here now. Okay. Now for the middle part of the nose here, as it's coming up the face, I'm going to go for a deeper orange this time. I don't want to have the same orange as before. I'll have something a little bit deeper, so we may have to mix some colours for this one, because this is the orange that I have, and you can see if I put it against my blue there, you can see how striking that orange is. It's really bright. So let's give it a go. Let's see what happens. I'm going to put that on there, and we can see straight away that it's really quite vibrant. It's really quite deep. So, I know I don't really want it to be that vibrant. So I'm going to take a yellow, and I'm going to put my yellow straight on top. And I'm going to see if I can create my own type of orange that will fit nicely with the rest of my drawing. There, that looks pretty good to me. It's different to the rest, but it's not too strong. It's not so strong that it sticks out like a sore thumb. Okay, we're ready to do some blending. So let's get some nice clean fingers. We'll start at the top and work our way down. And when we blend, we don't want to blend every single colour into each other. So we still want some bits that are just white and some bits that are just orange, but we do want some bits that are a bit blended as well. So I'm only doing the yellow bits at the moment, and then I'm going to go back and do the white bits. Just doing one colour at a time. Otherwise, if I start doing all the colours together now, what will happen is I'm just going to end up with one very flat colour absolutely everywhere, instead of the two colours, orange and white. Okay, and I'll use another finger for the white. Okay, do the middle part as well. All right, and then we're going to get some black on there as well before we start going back over with some white. So you can go anywhere along the ears really, just a black line. But as we're doing it, we're going to sort of take our chalk for a little walk. And you can see that I'm creating those furry lines. See those? Creating those little furry lines. I'll do the same over here. Doesn't matter where you do this really. I'm doing it around where the white is. So it goes white, black and yellow or orange. All right, let's do the midsection here. We'll get the black on nice and thick. Don't be worried about the rest of your chalk painting. Okay. get that black on. Come down those lines. And you'll notice how the black covers over any other colour that you don't want to be there. So you didn't have to be really neat to begin with. And the eyebrows as well. So I'm kind of doing a scribbling motion because I want to try to create the illusion of hair, of fur. So I'm scribbling the eyebrows on. Perhaps you want to add more stripes, which is fine. You can add more stripes. You just go straight over the top of your yellow or white, and you can add more stripes. Okay, over this side. Okay, our tiger's starting to come to life now, and as soon as we get the eyes in, it's going to really stand out. Let's come down to the nose. And after the nose, we're going to come down to his mouth. So if you've got the mouth open like I do, then we're going to fill in that little shape down there, that little fan shape. Going to fill that in. And then we're also going to add a little black line down to the bottom of the chin. That little black line. And then we're going to do little hairs coming off of that black line, going down into his body. Little black hairs. Don't have to be very long, as many as you like. Coming down there. Okay, perfect. Let's leave the eyes till last. We're going to get some more black in there. We're just going to come back up to the ears because I forgot to do the inside bit here. So we're going to do, you can use black or brown with this, whichever. If you don't want something as strong as black for inside the ears, then brown is going to be just as good. And we want to scribble inside the ears because we want to create the illusion of fur coming through. So scribble. Scribble in there, and in the other one. This is fun because we get to do lots of nice scribbling, so we keep our hand nice and loose. If your hand's starting to hurt, then you're probably holding the chalk too tightly. You're clinging on for dear life. Just loosen up. Hold it nice and loosely. Add a bit more in this one. Okay. Let's come down to these stripes here. Just filling in each one like we were doing before with the shapes on the face. I added an extra one just at the bottom here, just to show you how easily we can go over the other colours in black if you wanted to add some. Okay, oh, my hands are so black now. Right, let's finish off the nose here. So we're going to go around the cheeks. Oh, not the cheeks there. I don't know what they're called, what the technical name is for this, but we're going to go around this curve and the other side as well. And we're going to bring some lines, some black lines coming inside of this curve. So I'm going to start on the edge here and I'm going to curve my way in. Do this a few times. And the same over here. Okay, we're going to do the orange for the outsides of the circles. So something nice and bright, like if you want your tiger to have really striking bright eyes, then a nice bright colour is going to do the trick. Something like a bright orange, or even something a little bit fluorescent. Give him nice bright eyes, make him come to life a little bit. And because they're sitting next to the white, that's going to help it look even brighter. So both sides of the eye of the circle. And over here. I'm holding my chalk like a pencil for this. And we're going to do a little bit of blending, so try to find a clean finger and just kind of pat it over the bright orange. You can't really do much blending because it's only supposed to be in this tiny area, so just give it a little pat. And then we come back to the black. Now essentially the whole big circle is going to be black, but we've added a little circle just so that we have a little place to add some white. Actually, we'll do the white first. So that little circle is going to be white. That's going to be like the glint in the eye. It doesn't have to be a circle though. You could turn that into a square or a triangle, or any shape at all. And then we're going to bring the black around it. I want to create that little glint in the eye. It kind of brings it to life a little bit. If I just had a solid black eye, it would be a little bit lifeless. But if I bring a little bit of white into it, it just helps. Do the same with the other one. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to add on a little bit more white. We've done lots of black. Let's add a little bit more white wherever you think that you might need it. For instance, I know that I need it for these little fairy bits here, so I'm going to add some white back in. And it's okay if I pick up a little bit of black along the way. I can wipe it off. That's no problem, but I just want a little bit more white so that ear stands out a little bit more. And I'd like some more white just above the nose here, coming up the nose. Kind of gives it that furry effect. I'm doing lots of scribbles with this. Okay, and you can keep going around and around, covering a bit more white area, or adding a bit more black, or adding a bit more orange. Perhaps you want to add different oranges to this now. Perhaps you don't want it just to be one orange. For instance, let's add on something else. I've got myself another orange here. We could add some deeper orange to the ears. The other side. What you do one side, try to do it the other side as well. It doesn't have to be perfectly matching, but it's quite good practice for animals. But what you do one side, you do the other. There we go, and maybe a little bit down here on the body as well. And you can keep going with this as much as you like, adding more orange, more white, more black. just see what your artwork needs. Okay, I'm ready to start my background now. So we're going to need some greens, dark green, light green, and some yellow. Okay, we're going to start nice and simply. I've got a nice light green there, and I'm just going to smush it down into my paper, covering all of my leaves. Remember, add that pencil line back in. If you're covering it to the point where you can't even see it anymore, then put that pencil line back in. Go back over it with your pencil so that you don't lose it. And let's get that nice and smooth. Use our finger, blend it in. Really smooth. It's okay if little bits of the coloured paper are shining through. It's all part of it. It adds to the effect. We don't want to go over our lines too much because the background colour, so the colour of your paper is the colour of the background. So don't want to go over lines too much, but it's okay if you go over a little bit. Then with a dark green, something nice and deep, like an emerald green like this, really dark, we're going to go over our pencil line. We're going to add lots of details over our pencil line, creating that leaf shape or teardrop shape. This takes a bit of control, so you're going to have to use it like a pencil. Put it on its end, on its edge, use it like a pencil. And then we can add on some detail, so that central vein and then little veins coming off of it, going to the side. Okay, we'll keep it nice and simple because we've done so much detail on the tiger. We don't want to overcomplicate the leaves. So nice and simple. Okay, if you wanted to do something funky with those leaves as well, you could even add a little bit of yellow inside of those shapes. So add a little bit of colour. Don't cover all of the green. You just add a little bit here and there. It kind of jazzes it up a little bit. Like that. Remember, make each one different. Don't do the same on each one. All right, so let's go again with the light green. You could start swapping your colours actually now. So if you didn't want to do light green on your next one, then you don't have to. You could do something else. Could make it all sorts of jungly colours, exotic jungle colours. I'm going to stick with green for now, just to keep it nice and simple. Covering over. Try not to go outside of my lines too much. It's okay if you do a little bit. We're going to take an eraser to the background in a minute, because probably like me, there's chalk all over yours. Okay, let's get that smushed in, nice and soft. Try not to leave any areas that are unsoftened. Try to cover it all. And then we'll go around with our deep emerald green. You could use a different colour for this as well. You don't have to use dark green. You could use something else that's dark. Perhaps a red or a brown. Okay, and then you can put in whatever other colour you want to jazz it up. So let's use something different for this one. Let's use a little bit of pink. What does pink do? I'll jazz that up a little bit. I just want to make it a little bit exotic here and there. and just have a play, have an experiment, see what colours work really well. Anything that doesn't work well and you're thinking that you wish you hadn't done it, then you can just go over the top with another colour. So this is a really good project for you to experiment with and just see what happens. Okay, for these ones I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to put my central vein in first. So we're going to do the opposite way. Let's see what the opposite way brings. Put in my central line first, nice and thick. I like to call it chunky monkey. Nice and chunky. And then I'm going to use my dark green to go around that. And it's okay if I have a little bit of my blue card showing through, that's fine. And let's soften that. And for this one, I'm going to put in those little veins coming off of my central vein as well. And this time I'm going to put my emerald green in between each one. So each one's its own unique little shape. I'm going to try to capture that shape with my dark green. So this is much more time consuming this way. Let's see what effect it gives us though. I use my little finger for this because I've got such teeny tiny shapes. I'm not worried about the blue shining through, that's okay, that's what it's there for. I'll do the other one the way that I did my first one. Okay, so you could do the ones over here in a similar way. You could choose which design you like the most, or perhaps you want to do it in these colours instead. So you decide what you want to do over here. For these ones, we're going to do them a little bit differently again. So let's see what we can do. This time around, I'm going to start dark and go lighter and lighter as I get to the edge. So in the middle, I'm going to start dark and then go lighter. So got my dark green, but you don't have to use green. Remember, this is an exotic jungle. You could use any colour you like. Just experiment, see what you like, see what happens. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to use my dark colour and I'm going to draw a line in the middle of that leaf all the way to the end. Let's go back again so that I'm making sure that it is nice and dark. Go all the way back. There, nice and chunky monkey. And this time I'm just going to go lighter and lighter so I get to the edge. So it's a bit like drawing a rainbow. So I'm going to put my light green around that bit, and then the other side of my dark green as well. Just go over that again. And I'm going to get lighter again. So I'm going to go yellow, but you don't have to. You could go something else if you like. And the other side. You could use white as well for this. That would work well too. Okay, so I'm doing one colour at a time. Let's go over the top of our dark green. Let's go over the top of our light green. And then some other finger, a cleanish finger for the yellow. Okay, so something different again to do. Let's do another one. I'm going to go down the centre with my dark green and back again. So it's nice and thick. Then I'm going to use my light green for this side of my dark green. And the other side of my dark green. And finally yellow, or whatever your light colour is. And the other side. And let's use our fingers to go over the top. So dark green first, light green, and yellow. Okay, so keep on going, fill those leaves, and then I'll show you what to do with the background. All right, we're going to just finish off, tidy up the background. I've washed my hands because I was starting to look like Shrek with all the green everywhere. So I've washed my hands, and then I'm going to just tap my paper on the table to get rid of the excess dust. And I've got an eraser, and I'm going to go around and just take out any bits of chalk that I don't want, or any grimy bits of paper. You can see the difference there already between the paper erased and the paper unerased. You can see the massive difference that it makes. So go around and erase all those little bits, go around the whole page and just see where those dusty areas are that you need to get rid of, clean it up, and then we're going to finish off. All right, that is our jungle tiger on coloured card in chalk pastel. I hope that you've really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again next week. Bye everyone.